How's it going, class? My name is Joe McCarthy, and I will be teaching you guys about the H1N1 outbreak and how we can use what we learned from that outbreak to better prepare us for future pandemics as well as the current COVID-19 pandemic. What is the H1N1 outbreak? In early 2009, a never-before-seen seasonal influenza virus had emerged. The virus adopted the name H1N1. The virus was originally discovered at a pig farm in Mexico and quickly began to spread throughout the world. The virus is also known as the swine flu. This is due to research linking the virus to a virus that was seen in pigs. As we are living in the midst of a pandemic, we have looked at past pandemics and compare their impact to those of the COVID-19 outbreak. As we compare outbreaks, we will look at certain aspects such as vaccine rollout, mortality rates, as well as the global impact they had. In the United States, we saw roughly 68.8 million cases and somewhere between 150,000 to 575,000 deaths globally. Symptoms are very similar to that of the flu, such as body aches, fever, cough, and chills. Although our current pandemic is not an influenza virus, they act in similar manners, which makes their comparison appropriate. To many people's surprise, the 2009 swine flu outbreak was seen mostly in the younger population. This is most likely due to the fact that older people were more likely to have the antibodies due to a similar outbreak earlier in their lives. According to the CDC, nearly a third of the population over the age of 60 had antibodies to fight the virus. As previously mentioned, the H1N1 outbreak derived from a virus in pigs that was able to find its way into humans. Although the origin of the COVID-19 pandemic is still an ongoing investigation, it is believed that the virus was first seen in the bat population. As we compare outbreaks, it is vital to look at the numbers, most importantly, mortality rates. The mortality rate of a virus is essentially the amount of people that die after they become infected with the virus. The H1N1 outbreak had a very low mortality rate, less than 0.007%. Compared to our current pandemic, we are seeing about a 3.4% mortality rate. This is one reason why the COVID-19 pandemic has had a much larger impact on the global economy. Although the H1N1 outbreak was responsible for nearly 600 million more cases, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused many more deaths, as well as a greater overall impact on the world. As we are a little over a year into the COVID-19 outbreak, we are starting to see a large increase in vaccine distribution. The vaccine distribution for the swine flu was an absolute disaster, fueled by broken promises and greedy politicians. In the early stages of the outbreak, the government promised up to 160 million doses by October 2009. This goal was not even close to being met. By October, there were only roughly 23 million doses available. There was also a large misunderstanding on who should be eligible first. Due to its deadly effect on kids, nervous parents flocked to their doctor's offices in hopes for a vaccine. By the time the vaccine was readily available, the second wave had already passed, and people were less interested in being vaccinated. There was an extremely low vaccine turnout for the H1N1 outbreak, and since then we have made immense progress in getting vaccines to citizens. Many people are also making it a priority to get their COVID-19 shot when eligible. Overall global impact. As many of you guys know, our global economy is extremely fragile, which is why the COVID-19 pandemic virtually shut down the world for a period of time. Lockdowns were imposed, jobs were lost, and a smaller demand for goods nearly shut down our economy and sent us into a spiral desperate for an escape. The 2009 pandemic had a much lesser impact on the global marketplace compared to the current pandemic. This is mostly due to the fact that lockdowns were much harsher this time around. For example, it was less likely to see a school get closed due to the 2009 outbreak, whereas now we are over a year into the pandemic and we are still doing school in an online or hybrid format. Experts estimate that the 2009 outbreak cost the United States just over $1 billion, whereas the COVID-19 pandemic has already cost over $16 trillion and nearly 90% of our annual GDP, and this number is only expected to climb. As we are trekking our way through this pandemic day by day, we must learn from our past to better us for the current time as well as our future. Our future is very fragile at the moment. We don't know when we will be back to normal. In my opinion, the general public needs to be more vigilant on the power we give our people in office. Every day it seems like they are attempting to take a little bit of our freedom. We need to open our eyes, examine our past in order to prepare for our future. Thank you for your time.